guys, and welcome back. We've got another great episode, ton of fun stuff for you guys today on the Week 14 CalvinBall recap. There were some incredible games this week. We had an unbelievable, down-to-the-wire showdown between the Charizards and the Kobe Bryants. I think when you dig into it, a really, really fun game between the sniper rifles and the dinosaur dragons. Not a ton of points, but I think if you're a real Calvin Ball knower and you know what's going on in that sport, then there was a lot to dig into there. There were some truly just awful slop fest games for people interested. Game between the 76ers and the 6-7s. Just truly some unbelievable top-shelf gruel there. And so, without any further ado, I think we're going to jump right into it.
I just gotta say about the Kobe Bryants versus the Charizards. I mean, listen, don't get mad at me, but we were expecting one team to go down in flames, fall out of the air, but then it was the other one. All I'm gonna say.
Okay. I mean, it's an unbelievable showing from the Kobe Bryants. We found out earlier this week. Kyle S. was going to be suspended 2 games for asking Grok to finish his Spanish homework. That was a huge blow to the Kobe Bryants coming into such a marquee matchup. And not only did they go blow for blow with the Charizards, they pulled it out at the end. I mean, it's a phenomenal effort from a squad that was missing one of its most important playmakers.
Yeah, it was a really inspired performance down Kyle S. But I do think that asking Grok for strategies in this game was something that it might be worth it for the suspension. You know what I mean? Like you're going to be down Kyle, right? And that's a tough loss. But I do think that the AI might be able to come up with ideas that are better than the rest of the 9-year-olds. So kind of taking one for the team there. Sometimes you got to establish something and sacrifice something to come out on top.
Yeah,
listen, a lot of coaches are using Grok way more than we realize. Because a lot of them, they have screen time right now, and that's what they're using it for. They're not indulging. They're using it to actually improve their game, and that's how they're doing it. They're using Grok.
I mean, no, this is the sort of thing that really separates, the cereal from the Lucky Charms marshmallows in terms of what these players are doing as they get closer to playoff time. You've got your hour of allotted screen time every day. Are you going to use that to play Fortnite? Or are you going to use that to focus on and hone in on what strategies you can use to carry your team when it's needed most into the postseason? So this game, I mean, it started off really bad for the Kobe Bryants. It was a disaster. You've got Michael B., who hits this absolutely gorgeous Frisbee toss. Got to be something like 30 steps down the yard. Just barely caught in bounds, gets the Charizards right in position to score. And then right at the end, you've got, was it Michael H? I think it was Michael H who performs a somersault into the scoring zone with the disc that puts the Charizards up 10 points right out of the gate. The Kobe Bryants, they get the wiffle ball back. But, there's that. I thought this was kind of a ticky-tacky penalty. I don't know. The teacher said she saw spitting. I didn't personally see any spitting, but they do get an infraction for spitting that then puts the special water bottle right back in the Charizard's hands. They move down the field methodically. There's this really, really nice block, I thought, by Sander H. That puts the Charizards up 25 points right out of the gate, and it's looking over. But, this is what we've talked about in the difference in coaching since James's dad took over for other James's dad. This is a team that it doesn't show the same kind of quit. They were always talented, but there were games like this where they would go down early, and you could see the fight just kind of come out of some of these kids. And that's not happening anymore.
Yeah, no. I mean, I have to completely agree. I mean, it's so much harder. Like, I think what a lot of people are really frustrated about is like the access that fans are given to these games, because a lot of these fans, they've been watching these games every day, for months at this point, years even, and it's because they're so committed to watching this game that they're not even they get told they can't come within 300 meters of the game. They have to figure out something else. And I just think that, not to get too political, but I think that sort of economic aspect is just sort of cutting into a lot of fans' enjoyment right now, and I wanted to address it.
Yeah. So we had an incredible 25-point comeback by the Kobe Bryants in this game. Obviously you want to give as much credit as you can to Blake, who not only had multiple scores this game, but he got a somersault bonus on one of them. There was one of them where I think he manages to dodge what probably should have been called as an illegal sand throw, and still manages to get the kickball into scoring position. But Theo, were there any other performances that might have flown a little more under the radar that you wanted to highlight?
Yeah, I just got to shout out Desmond for his performance. I think you talked about it earlier, going from the Frisbee to the wiffle ball being the real turning point in this game. I mean, there are multiple players on the Kobe Bryants who just couldn't really throw the Frisbee. Like, they just did not have the flick of the wrist, the technique needed to keep that thing flat and to keep that thing with some distance in a catchable way. It was kind of tilting off to the side, just going out of bounds. I mean, Brandon, Emily, they were completely all over the place with the Frisbee. So for Desmond to make a scene and complain that the Frisbee was too hard to throw and get it switched over to the wiffle ball, and to make the wiffle ball double points the rest of the way for them, that was, I mean, just an insane display of CalvinBall right there.
I gotta say, I think it's the way that Jasmine with a Y and Marshall with a C sort of just changed up the rules in the middle of the game to, make themselves score more points. I think we really can't discount that, because that's really what it's all about.
That is what CalvinBall is
seeing
all
these
about.
Players adapt,
to the
constraints.
I think it really shows. Theo touched on this. You can see the growth that Desmond has had throughout this season, because we saw this happen in a similar situation back in week 3, where Desmond he doesn't want to throw the Frisbee, and what he does is he kicks the slide and he starts throwing wood chips all over the place, and he starts crying. He starts yelling, "This game is frigging stupid. I don't want to play this frigging game anymore. It's frigging bullcrap." And he just leaves. There's still a tantrum this time, but it's a well-directed tantrum. It's a tantrum that, he's able to get that Frisbee switched out for a wiffle ball that he's so much more comfortable with. And you can see some of his natural athleticism kind of just take over this game when you switch from the Frisbee to the wiffle ball. And Desmond's ability to kind of direct that anger and direct the emotions that he's feeling to change the rules so that they're more personally favored towards him as a player. This is sort of the thing that we don't usually see from third graders, Usually 4th or 5th grade, you start being able to get a temper tantrum going in a direction that works. The fact that we're seeing this from someone who, this guy turned 9, a month ago? This is unbelievable growth for a player that the Kobe Bryants really, really need to depend on going forward.
Yeah, he's becoming a pleasure to have in class. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. One more, small play from this game that I really wanted to highlight. There's a chance where the Charizards kind of have a chance to get this game all sewn up. They're still ahead 10 points. It's getting to the end of the ball game, and Catherine is able to pick up the switched out wiffle ball and get it in to the end zone. But just before she starts doing that, you can see, and again, I know this is a player who has gotten a lot of ire over the season, some of it well-deserved, some of it not. But when Kyle F. sees her go towards the end zone and starts flossing right before she crosses the goal line, he's able to get those points turned negative. So not only do the Charizards not score there, they actually lose points because he started Fortnite dancing right as she crosses the goal. That's just perfect timing on his part. We've seen a lot of mess ups from Kyle S throughout the season, but that was clutch play when the Kobe Bryants needed it more than any other team in the league.
Yeah, unbelievable.
It's this is a team that's kind of had a proud history, but not a recent proud history. It's a team that's been excellent for the past 5 years, but not excellent for the past 2. Yeah. And this is the sort of performance that makes you wonder: is this a franchise that can return to some of the glory that it saw, back when everybody was playing CalvinBall with N95s on? It's a really, really impressive performance.
What do you think about the rumors that? I'm sorry for interrupting. What do you think about the rumors that that Josh with an X has been making out with girls all the time, and that he's really good at it?
Charlie, it's not our job to speculate. Can we cut this, Charlie? We can't speculate on this sort of thing, man.
I'm sorry, but it's affecting his affecting his performance. It's affecting his performance.
Oh my god.
Listen, coaches need to be more involved.
Sort of oh yeah. No, Charlie.
Listen,
we're gonna have to cut this. We're gonna have to cut this. You cannot speculate on this sort of thing here. This is not a gossip show. We're here to analyze the sport. I don't know if some of it is.
It doesn't really matter. It doesn't even really matter if he did or didn't, because he was traded at lunch just a couple days ago. So you can't move him again or cut him for another week at least.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people were mad about that trade at the time, but given some of his play recently, I mean, a bag of gummy worms seems like a really good swap in that scenario.
Really good.
I know you guys like analytics and all that. You're all up on that, but I'm just sort of old school like that. I believe in, sort of the holistic view of a player's character, if they're really, if they're all the way there. I'm sorry if you can't sports bet on that stuff, but, it's important.
Yeah, but we literally saw the bad guys win the cup last year.
Yeah, no, that is true.
I think this is a great segue. Speaking of the bad guys, we had, maybe not the most exciting game in the world, pretty low scoring, but I did want to talk about this kind of defensive slugfest we saw between the bad guys and the Samurai today. -2 to -5 isn't the kind of score that's going to, light everyone up. There's not going to be people talking about this and getting in trouble for talking about this in the middle of English class the next day, but I think there was just kind of the unit cohesion we saw, both from the bad guys' defense and from the Samurai's defense, I think deserves some discussion. Charlie, do you have any performances you want to highlight from this? I think for your intelligent CalvinBall watcher, a really interesting game.
Well, I think if you've ever, I'm gonna take a book. I'm gonna take a page out of the book of Dennis Miller when he used to do Monday Night Football and compare this to. I'm gonna say it was like Hannibal crossing the Alps, if we're being honest. It was a lot like that. It was like, and these kids, it makes sense. They just learned about that in history class, but 15 minutes ago. So it makes sense that that's where their tactics are coming from. You go around the field, sometimes even cutting into the parking lot, looking inside the teacher's car, and then coming back around over the fence to get into the end zone. It really shows a creativity that the other team just wasn't expecting,
There was one really, really impressive play that I wanted to highlight. The Samurai's defense has been excellent all year. And one of their signature moves is in a lot of gotta-have-it scenarios for an opposing offense, you'll see Brandon, one of the best Samurai defenders, turn into Godzilla right when the other team is about to score, and that completely nullifies the play. And I thought Dylan having the wherewithal and the knowledge to turn into Godzilla's son right as Brandon turned into Godzilla so Brandon couldn't blast him with a nuclear laser beam, that was really, really impressive to me. It's that type of CalvinBall IQ that really decides games when you get into December CalvinBall. I mean, really, really impressive stuff.
Yeah. Although I do got to say, I think the bad guys kind of shot themselves in the foot in this game. I mean, the weather was clearly a factor. Playing in the snow, it's going to be lower scoring. But it was just such a brutal error for the bad guys to build all those snowmen before the game. They end up defecting to the other team. And now with a lot more players, The bad guys were just seeing coverages that they hadn't seen before.
There was a really weird. I mean, obviously it's the talk of the school right now, but that challenge that the bad guys coach made, where he claimed that a thrown snowball was more than 50% ice, when you clearly see the entire snowball just explode on impact, which wouldn't happen if it were made of ice. I don't know what he thought he was thinking there, and it ended up costing him one of his Fire Blast tokens.
Yep.
Yeah, one of my favorite bits from this game. One of the bad guys players, they made a snowman with 4 arms and 3 eyes. It ends up defecting to the other team with all of these now advantages. I mean, there's nobody on the Samurai normally who can guard Joe G, right? He's one of that on the short list for MVP this year. But you build that snowman with 4 arms, he can hold 4 badminton rackets. And they just posted up at the old maple tree, and they just could not, the bad guys could not get it by them. They tried shooting at the branches a few times and saying that you don't have to hit the trunk, you can just hit any old stick. But really good lobbying again by Irene to get that idea shot down. So really, you always got to be good at arguing in this sport, and you've got to take advantage of opponent mistakes. You got to be adaptable, recruiting the snowmen, appealing to the refs about the branches on the tree. Those are the key, I think, swings in this game.
Yeah, I don't want this turned into a segment where we just spend all of our time shitting on the bad guys. Even with the botched Godzilla transformation, I thought Brandon was still really technically gap sound for a lot of this game.
Yeah.
He's got just this unbelievable play where he punches a snowball in midair and it completely misses its target. Just explodes all over his hand. Brandon has been one of the bad guys' best players all throughout the season. And even when you're able to neuter some of his kind of calling cards, his fastballs, he's still able to show up in a big way.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was that critically important play early in the game where he's able to stop Joey from biting him in order to stop. Who is the frisbee carrier on that play? It's escaping me. I can't remember.
Kyle with a Z.
It was Kyle with a Z, yeah. So he's able to stop the bite attempt in order to stop Kyle with a Z from getting the scoring frisbee into the negative scoring zone. Obviously, there were a lot of negative points in this game, but not that one. I thought he had some, really, really impressive movement abilities. At one point, he had to spin around in a circle for 45 seconds, and he really looked only minimally dizzy after he did that. Still able to keep his legs under him, But then, of course, we've got to talk about what really was the game-deciding play in this game. There were only negative points scored, no positive points scored, but it was still -3 to -2 with 5 seconds left. And then you've got Melanie, who, as time expires, is able to distract the teacher so that the game goes on for another 15 seconds, and you've got... Geez, we're running out of fucking kids' names, man. You've got Joel, who doesn't realize that the game is still going and ends up standing with the wiffle ball in the negative point zone. And the game ends up being -5 to -3. So a little bit of a mental error there,
which is really
Melanie having the wherewithal to run to the teacher and cry about someone hitting her, so that the teacher did not stop the game when it was supposed to stop. Really intelligent.
Well, and the game, it's interesting how the game gets when it gets into the negatives, because that's when the players that are in the advanced math classes that's when they really shine through, when they're able to tell which number is actually bigger when it comes to negatives. And they have to have that charisma, that sort of, they have to have that ball knowledge that lets them, convince the other kids that -3 is more than -5. But that's really that's why they're on the team. That's why the kids from 4th grade math really. That's why they go on the field. That's why they come to play this.
Did Joel not know that -5 was smaller than -3?
I don't know. I mean,
I think, he's listen, he's been I don't want to speculate, but I think we're getting word now that that his parents just got divorced and he's going through a tough time.
Charlie, you got to stop bringing up the personal lives of these players.
Listen.
I don't want to have to keep pulling you aside. This is getting ridiculous. This is not. We cannot speculate on this kind of thing. Yeah. It's not okay.
Listen, I'm in the Facebook groups where they talk about these things. I'm in the elite group chats. I have the Waz phone for this. No.
Yeah. That's a situation. That's a situation.
The Waz Leap pad is very important for me. It's what got me this job in the industry, and I'm gonna keep using it until it fucking breaks. Okay.
This is a situation. Yeah.
Any performances you wanted to highlight before we move off of?
I think you did a good job here. I'm just saying that this is a situation where I think you need a fifth grader, because the fifth graders, like someone like Blake, someone like Jeffrey, they know that if you square negative points, they become positive and they can make a squaring zone. And that did not happen in this game, and that could have flipped the entire game on its head. This is where the age and just the math level of some of these second and third graders really start to show through.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it all comes back down to roster construction, Everybody wants the young talent eager to prove themselves, but if you don't know enough about, negative numbers, I mean, nobody likes doing their homework, but you got to do your homework for a reason, right?
Right.
Yeah. All right. So those were some of our favorite performances of the week, stuff we really enjoyed. Not every game was like this. For every Charizard's Kobe Bryant's, you're going to get a game that you can't stop watching because it's more like a Playmobil car wash. And you're not really enjoying yourself, but you can't really seem to look away. So, with that in mind, the 76ers lose 500 to negative 15 to the 6-7s. 76ers. What were you thinking this game?
Yeah, man. Look, Susie is not always available because she doesn't always want to play. But, man, when she plays, she's really, really efficient. I mean, the frog barrier that she made Percy go through. I mean, we have some charting on this from Amazon. Percy had to jump over 2 miles over the course of this game. He went over the creek and back in frog mode. Meanwhile, Susie and really everybody on the team didn't move more than 6 feet total. They were able to just sit by the flag, rack up points, while their best player was off being a frog. And yeah, I mean, 500 points in about 5 minutes of game time. Susie, when she plays, she can think of some of the craziest solutions and really run up the score.
I know I'm going to get called a stupid head and an idiot moron 500 times for this by 6-7 fans. I still don't know if I'm all the way sold on Susie. I'm not seeing it. The best
ability is availability, and a lot of times at recess she's playing on the playground.
Even when she's at recess, are you seeing the consistency? I get it, she was great this game. I get it, the frog barrier was really important. But the 76ers have been doing, pardon my language, stupid idiot crap like this all season. I don't know.
Yeah, you got to lay down the reverse. You got to lay down the reverse if you're them.
It's when you start. Are the Charizards scared of this team? Do you think the Charizards are scared of Susie? You don't think they have counters to being forced to turn into a frog?
Yeah, and it's a risky maneuver by Susie, too, because if any of the teachers find out that she made Percy hop past the creek, I mean, she could get banned for life. So it's putting herself and her availability and really the future of the sport in harm's way with Percy in the marsh during recess like he was.
I really hope none of the teachers find out about this. That could be just a disaster. If I don't know what I would do if we couldn't play CalvinBall. I don't know what we'd do if we couldn't play CalvinBall anymore. Sorry.
I mean, yeah. Listen, we all had a rough year. We all know the year that they had to go and set it up through Roblox. It really just wasn't the same. It didn't allow for like the type of creativity. I don't care if whatever game they were playing, whatever server they were hosting on, it just wasn't the same, and you can't convince me that it was the same as real CalvinBall. And I'm just afraid that we're going to go back to that at some point.
Yeah. But overall, I mean, we can talk about how we're not impressed, maybe not as much as we'd like to be with Susie in the 6-7s. What a disaster of a season for the 76ers. Oh my goodness. It has been, I mean, Maggie has been one of their lone, at least relative bright spots this game. In the first half, she falls down, scrapes her knee. We have no idea how long she's going to be out for. Are we ready? Are we ready to retire the Harold experiment? Do we think it's over?
I mean, it's clearly over. I mean, he's not.
I can't do it anymore, man.
You look at the build. I mean, you just look at the eye test. His build, first of all, like. You want to stick him on defense, but he can't even do that, right? Because he gets bored and creeps up and he starts to, try to get on the offensive side of the ball. But then, I mean, he's getting made fun of. They put him in the spin vortex cycle over and over and over again. He gets dizzy. I mean, he had to go to the nurse week 1. He was spinning so much. Like, it's clear that he's just there because when you try to kick him off the team, the teachers send him back, and they say you have to include him in the. So, if they can find a way to dump him for any kind of assets at all, or if they can find a way to get him, maybe to a different part of the playground or get his focus somewhere else, they should absolutely try to do that. I just don't know if it's going to be possible.
Maybe you could try convincing him to skip his homework so he's held out of recess. There's a play in the third quarter of this game where he tries to tip over Jeremy's wheelchair and he gets his finger stuck in the spoke, hurts himself really badly, but refuses to leave the game even though he's clearly crying. Justin, I don't know how much...
every week it's something.
How much more can the fans take having Harold as a centerpiece of this team? Because you've got incidents like this just week in and week out. I don't understand what the deal is. I mean, the big hype about this guy when he went from second to third grade and was allowed to continue to, or was allowed to step up into CalvinBall, is that he was supposedly one of the best Pokemon impersonators in CalvinBall in years. And you've got an incident in this game today where he thinks that Pikachu is immune to a poison-type frisbee, and he gets himself knocked out. It's just, oh my god. And then even after that, he kept saying that the frisbee didn't touch him, even though 2 kids around him told him that the frisbee touched him. Constant meltdowns, nothing showing out. And I don't think Harold is going to be a part of this team.
I tried to say before he joined that the Pokemon knowledge bit, like, that kind of skill set is fading out in modern CalvinBall. Like, maybe in 2016 when Pokemon Go was really big, you could have tried to incorporate that skill a little bit more, but kids now, it's just not as enough to overcome some of the weaknesses with him. So yeah, that was, I just am not sure what he's good at.
Yeah, as CalvinBall kind of, it's a very cyclical game as it kind of shifts back into a more Minecraft, Fortnite sort of based scoring. Being able to do good Pokemon impressions, it's not really worth anything to a CalvinBall offense anymore. You've got an incident at halftime again. Harold tries to drink a Diet Coke so that the sugar will give him extra energy because he thought Diet Coke had more sugar than regular Coke. Oh my god, it's been a mess of a year for the 76ers.
The sugar rush problem is a problem, and it's not just a problem for the players; it's a problem for the game. They think it's going to make them better, but if you look at the stats, sugar rush is sort of it. They do a bit better after they eat a bunch of their Halloween candy, but after they run out of the Halloween candy, it really hurts their performance. Yeah. So I really just hope that for the sake of everyone, that it falls out of favor as we get closer to the end of December.
Yeah, I mean, Billy's uncle had to step down from coaching in week 6 after he got so mad that he called a kid the FAG word. And a lot of people thought that would lead to a boost in morale, but they've only gotten worse. Billy's uncle might have been the only thing that was kind of keeping that. I mean, they weren't winning games, but they were, at least losing respectively.
What do you guys think about the Ja Morant trade to the Samurais? Do you think he's going to do good on that team?
I think. Well, I mean, his gun issue is.
Listen,
keeping him far away.
It's what defines his play style, is what we're saying. And he can keep the gun in a safe, but that gun mentality is coming with him when he plays the game. He's going to be making the finger guns at people. He's going to be, he's going to be playing gun style ball.
Yeah, I think it's a total teardown for the 76ers at this point.
Yeah, this season ended.
The 6-7s on a real contender, but.
I mean, this season ended against the 6-7s before it even started. I mean, they wanted that name. They got it first. They just changed the numbers around to 76ers. Like, what kind of name is that?
No, it's
like the 76ers. Just
it's one of those teams you could sense the bad vibes coming before the season even started. I don't know who you're going to get as a coach next year. Mr. Sampson said he can't coach CalvinBall anymore because his wife needs him at home more.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of good options out there right now, and I think this is a team that's kind of bereft of talent. Obviously Harold's not going to be a part of it next year. We've gone on and on about that. Joe with an X. I think, maybe there's a little bit of promise there. He's coming from 2nd grade to 3rd grade, so he can play next year. But I think he kind of lacks a lot of the raw athleticism that you would need to compete in this league. Because, I mean, the big fatal flaw everyone talks about with him is he doesn't have any pairs of cool shoes. And if you don't have cool shoes, you're going to need so much athleticism to compensate for that. And he's not unathletic. But I don't know if it's enough to overcome what he's playing in.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
I mean, it's just sort of, it's undeniable.
So I think we've all had our fill talking about the 76ers for now. We're kind of done with them. Another big loser from this week, the Narutos, in position to win the game, time expiring, and for God knows what reason, Jimmy, instead of throwing the frisbee into the scoring zone, decides to hit the teacher with a baseball bat and get his team thrown out of the league. I mean, Naruto's. What on earth are you thinking?
Some of these kids just got tempers, man. The diva mentality is just getting more and more prevalent. And hitting a kid with a teacher... Or hitting a teacher with a baseball bat, excuse me. It's a late recording after all these games.
Jimmy did the same thing 2 weeks ago. He was already on his 3rd strike.
I know. Yep. I know, in the yellow zone, moving over to red.
As we get closer to Christmas, I mean, these players, I hate to say it, but they're ready to go home, and they're, listen, they're going to open their presents, and they're just sort of waiting out the clock for that. This isn't the time of year when they play their best. It just isn't.
Yeah, it's
they have indoor recess sometimes
that just kind of have plagued the Narutos throughout this entire season. You've got another really big one today where Caroline L. Tries to sing Jingle Bells, Batman Smells, but just sings Jingle Bells normally. Completely stops the skateboards from scoring another 10 on them. This is a game that the Naruto should have had put away ages ago. But when you've got issues like Caroline messing up Jingle Bells, Batman Smells, I think I saw Matt get so mad at the game that he started lying down and refusing to play. That's another set of 10 points for the skateboards. This is a team that we thought would be contenders going in. And not only are they not contenders, it seems like they're completely falling apart at the seams.
Yeah. One thing that really stood out to me about this game, Naruto's lost to Epic Squad, obviously, and Leo on Epic Squad has just been so good at finding bonus boxes this year. So good. Yeah. And there's no bigger swing and win percentage in a CalvinBall game than when you find a bonus box. I mean, it could literally be anything in there. And so far,
I've got a fun stat for you on that.
Yeah.
Do you know where Leo ranks in finding bonus spots?
Ooh, it's got to be second or third or first.
I heard it was 0.
Behind only Rory H in bonus spot finding in the entire league.
Yeah,
Rory H, and then it's Leo.
Yeah, Leo.
I mean, Rory H was from like the era he's from. Like, it's going to be hard to beat those records. Back in like 2021. Like you look back at those, it's like they were just playing against they were playing against kids that they were playing with kids that just got out of online school. I mean, they weren't playing real CalvinBall.
Yeah,
it's incredible what Leo has been able to do for Epic Squad. But
the stats are. I mean, he is. Caroline was singing Jingle Bells, right? He has made opposing teams spend over an hour this season singing songs. He's accumulated 186 million oogles. He got a complete reset of his declarations in a bonus box, and so he was able to make all his declarations over again. And he straight up declared the game over in 2 of their wins this year, just from bonus boxes alone. And I think what makes him so special at it is he just doesn't overcomplicate things. Like week 1, he goes to the plaza and he checks under a rock, he finds the bonus box. And then each week for the next 3 weeks of the season, he checks the exact same spot on the field before he checks anywhere else, and he finds the box. And when you look at the Naruto's finder, he's always looking in a different spot every time. And it's just not an efficient way to look for those.
I saw the Naruto's finder. At one point in this game, he just straight up stopped looking for bonus boxes and tried to use a wood chip bomb on an opposing player. I mean, what are you even thinking, man? Like, do your job. You have an assignment.
Yeah.
It's undisciplined. It's the result of bad coaching. But at some point, if you're a player on this team, somebody has to step up and show some leadership,
Yeah, you can't give them any reason to send you into a vortex zone or make you sing a song unnecessarily. Like, when you're antagonistic, that energy is going to get redirected back to you 100 times anytime at recess, and not just in CalvinBall.
It's the sort of thing that, it shows up in other places. It'll show up in Spanish. It'll show up when you're waiting for your mom or your dad or your babysitter to come pick you up. And I'm not gonna speculate on the personal lives of these players, but you can definitely see it in the schoolyard.
Yeah.
I think there's a really, really nice play that is kind of illustrative of the problem that have plagued the Narutos throughout this season, where Jeffrey is about to take a wiffle ball and a frisbee straight into the scoring zone, which, if you're carrying both of those, that's a 4 times multiplier for points. And Phoebe is able to stop him and force him to do the monkey bars. And he tries to hold both the frisbee and the wiffle ball in his mouth, drops both of them, and Phoebe is able to take it back. The Narutos are such a talented team.
And that's the play where he hurt his foot, too, coming off the monkey bars.
Yeah, no, landed on the foot. I think I heard reports of bruising, which of course would keep him out for the remainder of the season. Really unfortunate.
Yeah, I heard his mom was involved. I mean, once the mom gets called, once he's in the office, once he gets to the nurse, I mean, he's out for the season. That's unfortunately just how it is. What do you guys think about Robert Kraft putting some money into this league? I'm personally for it, but I'm wondering what you guys think.
It could lead to a lot of increased visibility, grow the game, that sort of thing. My one concern is that I really wouldn't want any of these games to be played over in East Park. I'm all for growing the game, but having to travel 45 minutes is just way too much for a CalvinBall game. These players are going to be exhausted.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
I don't have any problem with it, but go ahead.
No, it's fine. Yeah,
I was just saying, like, look, he can buy the team or whatever, and he can try to get eyes on it. But I just feel like you got to bring in a GM from the outside. Jonathan Kraft being the GM of Epic Squad, it's just pure nepotism, and I just don't know what kind of job he's going to do.
I mean, listen, I hate getting like this, but like the live streams he's set up of the kids playing, like they're taking off huge in Israel right now. I don't know why that them in particular, but they really love watching this, and anything that grows the sport is what I'm saying at this point. We're sort of the league isn't in a position to really be moralizing at this point about who is and who shouldn't be involved and things like that. It's like it's like
that
UFC.
opens Pandora's box though, because I heard that they're trying to get some kids to transfer over from Bridgewater Elementary to play on his CalvinBall team.
Yeah, no, a lot of risks with that. One more quick highlight I wanted to throw out from the Naruto skateboarders game. Susie, for the fourth consecutive game, is able to blow bubbles directly into somebody's face and force them to hula hoop for 45 seconds. Again, this is one of the longest streaks in CalvinBall history of bubble forced hula hooping that we've seen from any player. Not a perfect season for the skateboards, but I think Susie is really, really showing a lot of promise in that area.
Yeah, her and her bubbles, man. You worry that eventually she'll run out of the soap formula in it, and you don't want that to happen at the worst time. But like so far, when she does it, it's a pretty crazy tool. They float, so they can really hit multiple people. I've seen that at points this year.
Well, apparently her dad works as a shampoo salesman, and that's how she's able to keep getting bubbles.
Okay. Yeah. Then maybe it can work.
There's nepotism in bad ways. There's nepotism in good ways. She's always got the bubbles on hand. So those were some of our biggest winners, and then our biggest doo-doo heads from week 14 of CalvinBall. Real quick, I wanted to go over some of my personal favorite plays, just from kind of I guess sort of miscellaneous moments. Maybe the game as a whole wasn't particularly exciting, but maybe like an individual moment that kind of stood out to me. So for me, I was talking about this with you guys in the studio, so this is not going to be any secret of mine. But Tyler, for the Dinosaur Dragons, has the football with 5 yards to go, and James Y blows a booger directly onto his face, and he doesn't stop, and he runs it in anyway. I mean, to be able to do that with your face completely covered in sticky, disgusting snot it's that sort of thing where even if the game isn't that exciting, there's always a play like that really stands out. Kyler as a whole had a great game for the Dinosaur Dragons. He had 2 scores with the wiffle ball, 1 with the baseball, 1 with the frisbee, even on top of the score with the football that he already had. I thought he had a really, really nice SpongeBob voice that made Lyle drop the ball because he was laughing so hard. But I think if I were to pinpoint one game or one moment from his game that really stood out to me, being able to take the football in for a score after making direct contact with a disgusting booger, running it in for the score. And he doesn't even scream or cry after the play is over. He just runs over to the teacher, gets a tissue, wipes it off, boom, back in the game. It's selfless, it's gritty, it's impressive, and it is by far one of my favorite plays from CalvinBall this week.
Mm.
What do you think? Any particular plays stood out to you?
I think my favorite play of the year was when Xavier put the entire game on the line with the kickball. He was going to punt it in the air as high as he could, and he really challenged I think it was the Kobe Bryants earlier in the season, that if they could catch the punt, they could just win and the game would be over. And this kid can kick it high. I mean, he played kickball last year. It got at least 10 yards probably of height, and coming down, those things are hard to track. They're big, they're a little hard. A lot of kids would get scared, But Patrick, he really stood in there and was able to catch the kickball. He caught it underhand. I think it's fine to use your body in that situation. And really just in the middle of the game, like that challenge comes up of like, I'm going to punt this really high and you've got to catch it on the way down. And we're going to decide it right here, right now. It doesn't get more pressure packed than that. And Patrick was able to come down with it. I thought that was an amazing, a season-saving play from Patrick. And I got to respect Xavier for laying down the challenge at all. I thought it was just two really good players kind of going head-to-head, and it was a war. But Patrick came out on top.
And when we talk about the Kobe Bryants being true championship contenders, the fact that, Patrick is no Desmond, but even their depth pieces are able to step up and catch, a really high punt or go down the slide really fast to increase to a triple scoring zone. Patrick's not a star, but the belief in the team and the unity that they have, even the guys who aren't stars on that team are able to show up. Charlie, what about you?
I think the thing that I'm most excited about is Matt with an M is I'm hearing that over the winter break, his brother is going to let him play the new Call of Duty when he's done with it, which I think is going to bring some, just according to some rumors I've heard, he's been watching the trailers on YouTube, and I think he's going to bring back some sort of, tactical awareness of how the game gets played. He's also reportedly, I am a bit concerned though, because he's also apparently there are concerns that he's going to use his brother's Xbox to go to the strip club in GTA 5, and I don't care what a player does in their personal lives, but that's just going to distract him from learning sort of the tactics and the movement that he needs to get better at this game that he can learn by playing Black Ops 7.
There's so many times that happens though, and then the kids feel like they're too old for Calvinball once they play Call of Duty.
Yeah, no, that's the thing is that it artificially ages them out of it
once he's getting into his double digits too, so I am worried that age is going to start to affect him.
I'm sure people will point to Josh, but for every Josh, there's 100 Nathans of people who will either play Call of Duty and then decide they don't care about CalvinBall anymore, or they'll insist that Call of Duty taught them tactical thinking, but it's so offset by how frequently you're calling other kids gay that it doesn't even end up benefiting your team in any way.
Yeah. No, and then you can go too far in the other direction. I mean, Derek with an N, like his brother, he sort of overdid it. His brother showed him those grand strategy games, and what a lot of people realized was that that's gay to play those. And I think a lot of, listen, a lot of people came to that conclusion. I don't necessarily support it, but you can't, but the fact that those people are out there, it says something about management, that they think that's gay and that Call of Duty is cooler, these are the prevailing attitudes. And even if one player is good enough, they can't overcome those attitudes. It's going to affect how they play.
Call of Duty is cooler than those games, though. Let's not.
Listen, we all know it's cool. It's cool. It's what Yeah, I've been playing it. I played it last weekend for 100 hours, maybe. I was.
That you only play strategy games because you're not actually good at Call of Duty.
Listen, there's a lot of allegations that have been made against me. And I think I'm just not going to comment on them. I'm not even going to dignify those. Don't look at what's Don't look at what's pulled up on my Discord right now.
I think we've done a good job recapping everything. We've got a little bit of breaking news I want to touch on at the end. But before we get to that, I did want to kind of return to a topic that we touched on earlier in the episode. Do we think Pokemon impressions are done in CalvinBall?
It depends on I think it depends on if they're doing it with if it's a voice impression or a body impression, if we're going to be honest, because there's a lot of depth to the voice impressions, but there's really only so many Pokemon that you can act like before you're just sort of flailing your arms.
it really does kind of show the limitations of the form here. You can yell flamethrower or ice beam as many times as you want, but if you don't have a lighter or a snowball handy,
Yeah.
there's really just a limit to what that impression is going to give you.
Yeah, no, and I mean, ever since like Devin with the Q, he brought that lighter from his dad's car when he was getting dropped out. Like it was great for dropped off at school. It was great for a game, but like the sort of the toll that took on him physically when he burned himself a little and he had to go to the nurse's office and then they found the lighter and he had to do in-school suspension. Like that just hurts the team way more than that kind of showboating helps.
It's the sort of thing that might just be outliving its usefulness.
Yeah, and it depends all on, like, you're putting your faith in something completely out of your hands if you're doing Pokemon impressions. It's like, how much can they make the cards really cool again? Can they make the games like really, really cool again? Then all of a sudden you can kind of buy low and then you have a really useful skill in a couple of years. But if that doesn't happen, then you're kind of just SOL. So it's hard to say. It's cyclical, like you said. But like right now, it's just, is there anything out on the other side of that? Is there a reason to develop these skills?
I think a particular problem that we're seeing, we heard this from Mr. Johnson, who was the coach of the Freddy's Five Nights, is one of the main appeals of Pokemon impressions was that your coaches could probably understand them. But a lot of the time, these coaches, they really only know the ones that came out in the 90s. And so if you're trying to do an impression of a new Pokemon, your coach isn't going to understand what's going on. And if you're only doing the ones that came out before we were born, then you've got a really limited playbook to run with.
Yeah, and that is why Andy Reid has struggled to coach the Narutos this year. I mean, 67 years old. He's just a little bit behind the times. Like, time comes for us all, and Reid is just not understanding what the kids are saying. So I definitely could see going in a younger direction there.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
the fact that he's been splitting his time between like two different teams coaching them, like I think that explains a lot. Yeah. And if he's really serious about this, he's got to commit to CalvinBall because
it's ridiculous. Because I mean, we've already talked about the season that the Narutos have had. Obviously, this past weekend, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to miss.
Does he even know what Naruto is, bro? Like, there's no way Andy Reid knows.
Yeah. No, it's just a really, really unfortunate situation with both the Chiefs and the Narutos. Probably the saddest thing that has ever happened involving a member of the Reid family and a young child.
Yeah.
The Kobe Bryants have run into the same issue with Doc Rivers a little bit.
Yeah.
Before
Tyler, well, actually, sort of an interesting parallel between him and the Chiefs is that Tyler with an A is actually dating Taylor Swift and, according to rumors, has had sex with her, 1,000 times, even though he doesn't like her music and he thinks it's dumb.
Charlie, you have to stop speculating. You have to stop. This is not TMZ. This is not a rumor mill. I don't care whether listening to Justin Bieber makes you gay or a girl or both. We are here to talk about CalvinBall. We are here to freaking talk about CalvinBall, okay? Can you freaking stop?
I'm just saying, it's, like it or not, that's a part of the game now. That we aren't ready for. I'm looking at, listen, I personally, I hate it. I don't even like Taylor Swift, and it's only like I only listen to it because I hate it so much, and I think that it's dumb and gay.
That's basically a load of friggin' crap from you. Okay,
so that listen, it's as Sun Tzu said, listen to Taylor Swift because you think it's gay, and it's what your enemies listen to. And I'm applying that philosophy, but we have to
now. What are you, dumb?
Listen,
yeah, that's what I thought.
It's Sun Tzu, one of the kids that just transferred in, was telling me that it's okay to listen to Taylor Swift as long as you don't like it.
No, that's not true. You should listen to cool stuff. Listen,
look, he's a bit more analytical. He's 16 years old also, and I'm not entirely sure if he goes to the school or if he just works as a janitor. But it's you can't deny those facts, and I'm just trying to get ahead of those facts, recognize them as they come to us, because they're gonna catch up. Is all I'm saying. the market is expanding, and as much as I think Taylor Swift is dumb and gay and for girls, and I also think that about BTS, and I also think that about Billie Eilish, and I also think that about a lot of other things. We just have to know what it sounds like sometimes when we're having a sleepover.
Okay, real quick before we get out of here, we're gonna ignore some of the stupid crap Charlie was saying. Some news updates before we wrap up. We received a report last night that Matthew might have to miss the rest of the season after he described touching what was, quote unquote, literally the hottest pizza I've ever touched in my entire life. It hurt so bad. It was revealed to us earlier today while we were recording that per Adam Schefter, the pizza was actually not that hot. Matthew was just being a giant baby like he usually is. So he should be back next week.
Yeah, no, I mean that's where you gotta get the coach to intervene, because that's what stops the injury being from sending you to the nurse's office to just being something that to being something that motivates you to be stronger, so that people don't think that you suck.
Yeah, I mean Matthew's a talented kid, but you gotta wonder, you see a couple groups of girls talking about how he's a baby behind his back.
Yeah,
it's starting to get a little embarrassing.
He definitely showboats sometimes, and I think that it brings his game down.
It's a little frustrating. It's this need for attention, even negative attention, that sometimes drags him down. And then lastly, we've got one more piece of breaking news per Ian Rappaport. So we talked about last episode about how Alvin was potentially going to be out for the rest of the season because of a suspension for drawing on the walls. It was revealed while we were recording that it turns out his sister was mad at him and stole his art supplies and was the one who actually drew on the walls. So Alvin should be reinstated pretty shortly. Should be a huge boost to the Kobe Bryants as they head back, as they start to get ready for playoff CalvinBall.
Yeah, I think right before he got suspended, he dug out one of those weird curved tools that throws a ball. I don't think anybody knows what they're called. It's not part of any official game. Usually it just goes forgotten about at the bottom of the ball bin. But he was starting to use that a little bit and was getting pretty accurate hucking the, like I said, I don't know what they're called. It's like a curved, you guys know what I'm talking about? You can throw the wiffle ball with it. It's like a piece of plastic.
Like the scoop.
Yeah, like one of those scoop things. He was starting to use one of those, so I'm interested to see where he's going to go with that.
Yeah. They're allowing scoops in college CalvinBall, but they haven't approved it for the big leagues yet. The one with with our kids. So I mean, I've heard that it's injured a lot of them, but that it also makes the game faster. So
I'll be down in 5 minutes. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I know I said I would be ready by 7, all right? I literally just need 5 more minutes. Oh, my God. I don't even want pasta anyway. I don't even like pasta anymore. Yes, I'm sorry about that, guys.
I'm getting reports that it seems like your mom sucks, dude. Is that true? Can you corroborate that?
Mom, literally, of anyone ever.
Yeah.
She loves making food that I don't even like and then gets mad at me when I don't want to eat it.
Is the pasta
plain at least? There's a reason we don't want to eat it,
Is the pasta plain?
Dessert's better.
It was plain, but she always put some weird-ass green sauce on it.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Please don't tell her that I swore. All right, so that's about all we have for today, guys. Just a couple weeks away from the playoffs. Should be really, really exciting. We'll have more episodes coming for you soon. But for the moment, we are going to sign off. I know everyone hates it, but please don't forget to do your homework so you can go outside and play more CalvinBall at recess. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.
Yeah, see ya.